You know what the problem is with standard belts? Usually you have to choose between too tight or the opposite, too loose. But with Anson Belt and Buckle, you don't have to choose. We got rid of the holes and instead have a track system designed for micro-adjustability. That way you can enjoy a perfect fit every time. Anson Belt and Buckle. Find your perfect fit today.
Golf gloves have been around for over a century, but they never seem to stand the test of time. It's time to stop playing short-lived, frail, crusty leather gloves and start playing with game-changing Claw golf gloves. Exclusive silicone palm provides consistent grip that never blackens, hardens, or tears. Breathable mesh promotes outstanding airflow, keeping hands cool and sweat-free. Add in being machine washable, the Claw delivers more rounds than typical stale old leather gloves. Golfers, it's time to expect more from your golf glove.
Having a corporate or charity golf event? Backswing Golf Events can supply your tournament with personable, professional golfers to entertain and fundraise on the golf course. They can accommodate any size group, whether it be 3 players to 500. They are your team. From range lessons, Beat the Pro, and Pro-Am style roaming, they're making lasting memories one swing at a time. So make sure to check out backswinggolfevents.com or call us direct at 661-316-3093 and book your pros now.
Good morning, everyone. Welcome to On Par with Amanda. This week, of course, we're going to bring in Mr. Biggs.
Hey, what's
hello,
up?
hello.
Hello.
So real quick before we dive into what I want to dive into, I just want to make an announcement in case of our listeners are not aware. But as we all know, back not that long ago, Danielle King took time away from the tour because they found that she had a tumor on her spine, which had us all super worried. I love Danielle. She's an amazing player, amazing person. But she just really said, I don't have answers. So, and she kind of took time off. She has announced her return. She is coming back to play in the CP Women's Open in Ottawa. And that's in late August. It's like the 25th through the 28th, I think. So I'm really, really excited for her that she's back. She didn't really express too much detail, but I just want to say congrats to Danielle for even being back out there playing. I hope she tears it up out there. So that's super exciting.
Yeah.
With that, I got the juicy gossip.
Boy, here we go.
Oh boy. So we know in the past, Mr. Gary Player, who I have had the honor and privilege of interviewing him over in France. I adore him. I think he is just a class act. He has had issues with his sons in the past. We all know that one of his sons created quite the commotion through a publicity stunt at the opening ceremonies back, I think in 2020 or 2020. Yeah, 2020. And he was banned for the Masters indefinitely, which for Gary Player to be his son and be banned from something is wow. But his other son, Mark, I didn't know this, but back in 2020 was his manager at one point. He started selling memorabilia under a company name, and so they filed the lawsuit. Gary Player won $5 million back and was working on getting his memorabilia back, which is just insane that is your son doing this. Well, folks, he's back at it again. Gary Player just found that he has started selling memorabilia again. And I just, my head doesn't wrap around that. One, being your son. Two, that it's already happened in the past and now he found a way to let it or make it happen again.
Yeah, well, as you know, Big's Golf Talk has a history with the Player family as well. And I will say one of his sons, and we were trying to work with him, Wayne Player, and he was trying to launch a tour under his father's likeness. And we were told that we can use on our social media the likeness of Gary Player on Twitter and things like that.
By
To
the
promote,
son.
right, by his son to promote this tour. Well, we received a message directly from Gary stating that he's denouncing this tour. He has nothing to do with this tour. He has nothing to do with his son launching this tour. And we
Wow.
are to cease immediately from using Gary's name or likeness in promoting
Sure.
this tour. So right away, my producer, our legal team went into action, and we ceased and desist on all our communication and all our doings with Wayne Player. And it's unfortunate because he was genuine. When we met him in Florida, we had to sit down with him in Encore Golf, and he was there. He had my cell number. He texted me almost every
Sure.
day, and hey, how are you? And we became good friends. But I'm sorry, when Gary Player speaks, I've
Yep.
met Gary too, and Gary is as genuine as it comes, and
He
he's a
is.
legend in this sport. And he certainly has a lot to do with growing the game of golf,
Yes.
promoting the game of golf. Later on, actually in his life, he became an ambassador for Encore Golf,
Mhm.
and used and still using Encore golf balls. And there's been some discussion between Big's Golf Talk and Gary Player, and just laughing about what had happened in the past. But at that time, it was pretty serious. I mean, we could have been sued, we could have
Sure.
been taken off the air, and
Well,
you know,
and I think there's something to be said, like, and I mentioned this to you earlier when we were prepping. It's, you know, eh, sure, give me the 5 mil. So he got to collect whatever was made
not about the money,
from that
right?
company. But
Right.
it's not like Gary Player doesn't need the $5 million and probably doesn't care about the 5 million, but your memorabilia is gone. Like it's being sold off, and it's not your property to be sold off. And you hear about these things in families of wealth or status that, yeah, their kids sold off their estate or, and did this, but
Well, and
I
he's
just
doing this while he's still alive, which
right,
is
but
just a
and
stab
that's the
in the heart.
thing. Right. I don't know. It really frustrates me for sure. Gary Player, as Gary Player is very professional and but forthright. He posted on his Twitter and he said, "I would like to draw the public's attention to the fact that several trophies and other pieces of memorabilia that form part of my legacy have been put up for auction by my son and ex-manager Mark. These items belong to me, and I have taken the action to recover them. I have placed no items for sale, whether by auction or otherwise. Any queries in this regard can be directed to James. It must be his like new
Right.
manager or
Manager,
whatever.
so yeah.
But
Might be
gosh,
lawyer.
yeah, I just, you know, I think in this world, and I think this a lot, and I know not every family dynamic is great, and you don't have to be blood to be family. Sometimes those people are closer and better for you than your own family. But for me, coming from what I'm very close with my parents, and you know, I just can't even imagine, even if it wasn't my parents, but like someone I knew super well that said, "Here, Amanda, hey, hold on to this stuff for me because X, Y, and Z." And then I just start selling it off.
Yeah.
And it's your dad. And he's just, I just,
You're better off somebody breaking into your home and stealing this stuff and wind up finding out, that's easier to deal with. And like you said, and like I
100%.
said, it's not about the money. It's about, your dad. This is your dad's legacy.
Sure.
Like Gary said in that tweet. I mean, that's essentially what it is.
Sure.
Trophies is a part of his legacy. Tournaments that he's won.
Yeah. I just, so a family friend of ours, they're in their 80s. He gave his daughter some jewelry and said, hey, I want you to hold on to this because we're having a lot of reconstruction done at the house. I don't want to keep it here. It's all of my rings and my jewelry just from, he was in some clubs and all of that. And sure enough, she sold it.
Wow.
And pawned it off because they needed money for X, Y, and Z. And he's like, why wouldn't you just ask me for the money? Why? It's not about the money. It's about my memory. Like literally you just sold off things that I cannot replace. He was part of different clubs and different things that you can't just go get a ring made. And I just, when I hear stories like that, so take it up a notch on Gary Player and he's one of the most decorated golfers.
It's not an athletic figure. I mean, you mentioned Gary Player to a baseball player. Oh yeah, holy cow!
Everybody knows Gary Player.
Yes,
and it just makes me really sad that he even at his age has to go through all of this. Like, I just think that's what a bummer. Yeah, if you so choose, he leaves it to you when he passes, and you choose to sell it off. Like, okay, that's a decision. That's different.
It's a crappy move, but
it's a crappy move. But okay,
right. It's not illegal.
But he's literally, it's still his, and he's still here. Yeah. I just can't, and I think the moral compass has to kick in.
How would you like to be a parent and say to your child, "You're no longer welcome in my home or anywhere that I have"?
I can't trust you around my stuff.
How would you like? I can't imagine it.
I would die.
Yeah.
I can't imagine. Yeah. Your mom says, you know what, Biggs, you can't ever come over here because I don't trust you with my stuff. Hey, Amanda, you're never allowed in. What? I don't know. So that was the gossip I had this week. I'm dying to find out what happens. I'm sure same thing as last time. You sue, you get paid back by the money reaped. Whatever money brought in from that memorabilia will go to Gary Player, but he said he is working on recovering, the article said, the pieces of memorabilia. So they go to the people that it was sold to and try to collect it back. The good thing is Gary Player does have the funds to make that happen.
Let's just hope that the people that bidded on that will be understanding.
100%.
And not 100%. Triple the price of you. Oh, you want this back? I paid $5,000. I want $15,000.
Yeah, 100%. 100%. And if it's me and I bought it and I don't even need my money back. I mean, I get it. People are out probably some serious money, but I'm just saying, like, that just makes me so frustrated. Well, that is all we have for this week. Thanks for joining us, Mr. Quick. Thanks, Biggs. We love having you on. Until next week, everyone, keep swinging for par.